Hello guys. It's actually just too hot today to put on hair, so I'm sorry, you're gonna have to deal with me like this. Um, Today is the episode about the product, and I have so much that I want to say about this. But before I get to that, the most important thing that I have found is to get very in touch with your instincts, and to just kind of work on making that inner voice very, very loud so that when you do have an instinct about something, you can identify that you're having that kind of experience. You can listen to your instinct, you can know what it's trying to tell you. For me, an example was when we first started selling deodorant, it was just like a little home recipe in a pot. And we literally couldn't keep up, but they were like flying out the door. I don't know, 100 a day. And I was absolutely hell bent on finding a way to put the deodorant into some sort of a dispenser, or just put it in a more conventional, user friendly mechanism. And everyone was saying to me, no, like, you've got a good thing, just like don't mess with the good thing. And I just, even though I do believe like don't mess with the good thing, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I knew instinctively that that wasn't right for that instance in that scenario. And I just knew I had to um throw myself into figuring out how to get the same results with the deodorant but in a different format, so that it was much more scalable and much more sellable. And I couldn't let go of that, and I'm so happy I didn't. And that it wasn't necessarily based on logic, it was purely based on instinct, because there's sound logic on both sides of that argument as to what I could do or should have done. So I'm glad I trusted my instinct, but I could hear them. I could hear that voice, and I knew what it was saying to me, and I knew that it was not self-doubt, and it was a very strong instinct talking to me. So I think this theme of listening to your instincts is going to be prolific through this series, because I know that for me, sometimes I just make a decision that turns out to be the right decision strictly from instinct. And sometimes my husband will say to me like, why? And I'm like, I don't know, it's just instinct. And there is a difference. There's a difference between instinct and fear, or instinct and self-doubt, or instinct and arrogance. And that's not, one has to know how to decipher those things as well, because I do make mistakes every time I act out of fear. Sometimes I think, oh my gosh, I'm not advertising on enough platforms, and then I quickly go and interfere with my ad campaign and let it push onto every single platform, and it's always a mistake. And I only ever do that out of fear. When I'm calm and sitting just in my own power, instinctively I just know where we need to advertise and where we shouldn't advertise. So we'll get to that, but I just think this thing of an instinct, and the more we grow, thank God, and the bigger we get, the more loyal I have to be to my instinct, because there's more noise all the time. Like when we were kind of approached by big retailers, and I just instinctively, even though it's like sounds so awesome to say like, oh, we in Schmishmem or Schmicks or Schmick and Schmay, it would just be for my ego. It wouldn't be a good business move. So I just have this obsession with e-commerce. I don't know where it comes from, and I stick to it, and I trust my instinct on that. So I think that's the most important point. So obviously, if you don't have a product, you don't have a business. So even if your product is your service that you offer, if you don't have a product, you don't have, we're not in a conversation right now. So I'm going to assume that you have an idea of a product or a service or something that you're going to offer to people. The number one piece of advice that I would give to you is just put it out there. Like, get it vaguely functional and just put it out there. You may have to give some refunds. You may have to, apologize, but there is no greater refiner of your product than putting it out into the market and seeing what feedback you get. We've gotten so much feedback about so many different problems that one can experience with our deodorant, but the one piece of feedback we have never ever, we have 99.999% never received is I still stink. So time and time again, we kept just putting this product out, and my husband showed me something a few days ago that said, if you're not embarrassed of the first version of your product, then you launched too late. And looking back in hindsight, nothing could be more true. I didn't know that I was going to have this like beautiful custom container, that we had laser printed and whatever. I was selling tubs of underarm cream, in a 30 cents plastic tub that didn't seal nicely. So of course, if I look back now, it's embarrassing compared to what we're selling, but I'm not one bit embarrassed because I'm like, good, we started straight away. That was like the base product, and we put it out into the market, and we just continued to refine it, and we are still refining it all the time, constantly. So if you have an idea, the first piece of advice I would say about your product or your idea, just do it. Just put it out there. The next thing I would say about your product is don't compromise on price. This could probably be a video in and of itself, but when you are selling something, whether it is a course, whether it is a consultation, whether it is a piece of chewing gum, whether it is a stick of deodorant, start as you wish to finish. Start with the price that is going to allow you to create a big business. There is not a deodorant in South Africa, barring I think one called Humble, that is sold for 150 Rand. Most deodorants, okay, granted they are like cancer causing chemical tins of crap, are like 20 Rand. But the ingredients that we use are so premium, they are so expensive, they are organic. We do not dilute our product at all. There's no water in our product. There's no preservative. There's nothing. There's absolutely no way I can make this product for less than what I sell it. So we started with a high price point, and we haven't had to increase our prices, which I'm so grateful for. Whereas if I had started at a low price point when I was, doing a home industry business, and then I started scaling, I would have to keep increasing the prices. That would be revolting for my customers. Whereas from day one, the price was the same, the price was set, and the proof was in the pudding. Ultimately, at the end of the day, people don't want to stink, and they are willing to pay a premium for a premium product that works. You can't rip people off, of course, and we're very strict about that. We are constantly looking at our margins, we're constantly looking at our suppliers, but we're also very strict on quality control. So I would say when you are looking to set your price point, just be aware that, please God, you are going to scale, you're going to get bigger, you're going to sell more, you're going to have to, have things like staff and distribution and branding and marketing and delivery fees and a million things that you never in a million years thought, I never in a million years thought I would have a business that had all of these things. So start as you wish to finish. Put your price point where it needs to be. Imagine yourself in 5 years' time. Where is that price point? That's how you price your product. I would say another very important thing about your product is to be honest with yourself. When we talk about marketing, I'm going to talk about solving a problem. Now, not all problems are necessarily negative things, but you have to be honest with yourself. I know what problem my product solves. My product solves the problem of body odor. That's what it solves. It happens to be that my product is 100% natural, but the problem of a natural deodorant necessarily is not what it solves, because there are other natural deodorants. It just so happens that they don't really work, but there may be ones that work that I don't know about. So that's not what my product solves. It also doesn't solve like the problem of sweating. I'm very virulent about saying you will sweat, you just will not smell. I'm obsessed with sweating. Sweating is the healthiest thing your body can do. It's the body's filtration system. You want to sweat all day, every day. I do not want one thing in my body that's not supposed to be there. I want to sweat it out. So you need to be very honest about what your product does do and what it doesn't do, and don't be ashamed. I am very open about the fact that our product contains sodium bicarbonate, and there are possible side effects of that. And I know what the side effects are, I know what causes them, and I know how to remediate them. And that's also through putting my product out there early and getting feedback. Do not be scared of negative feedback. It is absolutely the best and free. It's the only free resource you'll ever have in your business, is the feedback from customers. And it is gold, and it's free. You literally get the most prolific advice that you'll ever get for your business for free. So do not be scared of negative feedback, because all it will do is make your product stronger and better. Lean into it. Be honest with your customers. This is what can happen. This is what won't happen. This is, know what problem you are solving. And if you are selling something that's, shall we say, like less meaningful than like a self-esteem issue, like body odor or whatever, you can lean into that as well. I love something pretty as much as the next person. And you can say let's just say, for example, what problem do my new sweet pea shoes solve? They don't really solve a problem, because thank God I do have shoes. They actually just like solve the problem that maybe my day was a bit bland, and then I bought these shoes and I was so happy. Is that a bit materialistic? Yes, it's okay. We all have a little bit of that in us, or a lot of that in us. It's fine. But don't hide away from that. If you are selling something that's materialistic and it solves the problem of sometimes you just need retail therapy, that's fine. Own it. Own it. So what I would say, I guess the overarching thing I would say about product is be honest and be authentic. And if it's not honest and it's not authentic, then you've got to have a very hard conversation with yourself. And if you can't really answer these questions, you might not actually have a good product. You might not have a good idea. My husband is like the smartest person I know by very many miles, and he came up with this ridiculous IP. He's a chartered accountant, and he came up with this formula with regards to the networking capital cycle within a business. I mean, I don't even know what it is, but basically he created a formula and a calculator. He created this, that you can input your debtors days and your creditors days and your supplier days. I don't even know what it is. And then if you just like renegotiate like a day off, it will generate X amount of free money in your business. Like it's like free money from within your business that you basically just loaning yourself for free. It's mind-boggling. It took me like a month to understand it. We used to like sit for hours together, like trying to do the maths. And eventually we got to the point that we realized it's too clever, it's too elevated. You cannot actually sell this to someone in an hour, because I think I'm quite a smart girl, and it took me some time to understand what he was talking about. Even many CAs that he presented it to, he had to spend hours explaining it to them because it was too elevated. And eventually I said to him, it's actually not a good product then. It's not a sellable product, because I'm not going to buy something that I don't understand. So it doesn't matter how brilliant it is. It doesn't matter that it frees up money from within your business for free, because what I understand is when I need money, I go to the bank. So that, I feel like that's such an important litmus test, is like, do you actually have a good idea? Do you actually have a good product? Okay, there's no such thing as a perfect product. So now let's get really real about everything that can possibly go wrong with your product and will go wrong with your product. And then once we've been very real with ourselves about that, and it's still safe to put out to market, what problem does this product solve? And then just get it out there. Like, I don't care what it looks like right now. If it's got legs, it will walk, it will run, it will fly. And the market will tell you that. But you do not want to be in a position where you have spent so much money on various things trying to get your product perfect, and then you put a perfect version of it into market and it goes nowhere, because maybe it's nice, maybe it's not, but it's just a poor strategy. The best strategy is rather fail when you've spent no money than fail once you've spent lots of money. I hope that's making sense. So what I want to say is about a product or a service, if you have an idea, it doesn't have to be revolutionary. It does not have to be exceptional. It doesn't even have to be new. Uber is not new. Taxis have been around since there were cars. Um, you just have to get it out there and do it with integrity and deliver it well, and don't lie. Like, deliver something that does what you say it does and not something else. But just get your product out to market, articulate it to yourself, have an honest conversation with yourself about those points that I've discussed earlier, and then just get it out there, give it to your friends, sell it on Facebook groups, get it into the market and get feedback and build on that. So that would be my tutorial about the product. I would love to hear if you have any questions. You can comment, you can inbox me on any of my platforms, you can email me simipempersonal@gmail.com. I would love to know if there's questions, if you guys have questions, because that's so cool. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and next week we will talk about, next time, maybe it will be this week still, we're going to talk about hopefully architecture, which is something I'm like super excited about. Okay guys, have a good day.